Camera traps are amazing tools to get photographs and videos of free wildlife. They have a long history of improvement. In fact, the first time they've been used was in the '96 when George Shiras published on National Geographic magazine several photographs of wildlife in the night. Since the commercialization of infrared triggered cameras in the early 90s, this technology has been widely used by researchers and also passionate of nature because of the possibility of studying and observing wildlife when researchers were not on the field. In fact, with this possibility, there are many more chances to study the behavior of animals, the size of their population, and a lot of other things. At the end of the day, also every one of us can get this technology just to discover which animals actually are living in our backyards.
Camera traps can document wildlife presence, activity, abundance and population change. They can be used to form a picture of an entire community of species, including how they are structured and how they interact over space and time. Because of this, camera trapping is a good tool to provide evidence for management and policy decisions, notably through the collection of rarely seen and often globally endangered species. For example, footage showing population decline in the face of deforestation and habitat destruction is increasingly used to raise conservation awareness worldwide by NGOs. For determining the presence of a particular species, baited baits are often preferred in order to increase the likelihood of positive records. There are many advantages to using camera traps. It can record accurate data without disturbing the animal, and it is superior to human observation because it can be reviewed by other researchers. Although there may be an initial expense in purchasing the camera, they are easy to source and can be used for multiple projects. They can also operate continually and quietly, requiring attention sporadically.
The camera trap has a lens, passive infrared sensor, and infrared light on the front, which allows for the capture of images and video at night. This light is not visible to us or to the animals. When an animal walks into the sensor area, the infrared light will click on and allow the camera to capture video, pictures, or both, depending on the settings that you have chosen for your research. There is also a strap on the back of your camera. This strap will be used to attach your camera to the tree. To set up the trap, open up the camera using the latch on the side. Insert batteries if there are none. Your battery life will vary depending on your method of capture and on the weather patterns during the sampling period. Insert your SD card into the bottom of your camera like so. After inserting your SD card, slide the switch from off to setup. When the screen comes on, you should click on Menu to begin choosing your settings. These settings can be altered using the arrow buttons. They involve method of capture, size, quality, and number of pictures, audio size and length, and sensor level that can impact the data that you will capture. Make sure to use the Format setting to format your SD card before using to allow for maximum video or photo storage. The default setting will return your camera to factory settings if needed. Position your camera approximately 2 to 3 meters from your chosen viewpoint. Be sure to avoid any vegetation that may obstruct the camera or that may blow in the wind, causing the camera to record. Avoid areas frequently used by humans. Slide the switch from setup to on. The light on the front should blink red, indicating that the camera is now on. If you wish to bait your trap, now is the time. You can bait with items such as peanut butter, mealworms, or your desired animal's favorite snacks to attract them to the area. Let's see if our bait attracted any animals.
While camera trapping has its benefits, like anything else it also has its limitations. These limitations fall under a few categories: baiting, representation, behaviour effects, and maintenance of malfunction. Baiting can cause many problems. For example, it can attract vermin to a site, causing hygiene issues. Additionally, baiting can attract animals to areas where they wouldn't normally go, causing them to behave abnormally. In terms of representation, camera traps may not allow you to get the full representation of a community. One individual may return to the camera multiple times, while others are not seen at all. Additionally, camera traps are stationary pieces of equipment, and therefore you don't get the full range of movement, and therefore you don't see the full perspective of what's going on. Additionally, camera traps may affect animal behaviour. The infrared lights have been shown to cause animals to behave abnormally or avoid the area altogether. Although the sounds made by the camera traps may not be detectable to human hearing, these are detectable to some wildlife. Therefore, researchers should be aware of these behavioural changes and calibrate with other methods. Finally, camera traps may cause issues in terms of maintenance and malfunction. If placed in remote places, camera traps are difficult to monitor and therefore you could lose vital data. Adverse climates may cause camera traps to malfunction. This may cause expensive damage and vital data loss. Although minimal, camera traps do require some maintenance to ensure that no vital data is missed due to SD card malfunction or power loss. And finally, camera trap theft is becoming more and more common, while animals have been known to destroy camera traps. Therefore, it is ensured that these are checked on frequently.
To summarize, when used properly, camera traps are a cost-effective way to study animals when the researcher is not present in person, and they can also provide significant data for research.